As we head deeper into the holiday season, and with Hanukkah beginning in less than a week, we wanted to learn more about the rich Jewish heritage that has flourished here in South Carolina. Let's welcome back Elliott Friedman, Brotherhood Co-President for Congregation Kahal, Kadosh, Beth, Elohim. Good to have you back.
Great to be back. Thanks for having me.
So we were talking about an event that's still coming up. So we're gonna make sure to let our audience know about that. But you know, we didn't get to cover too much of the history of Jews here in South Carolina. So maybe you can tell us just how far back Jewish people go here.
So there's the earliest evidence of Jews being here in Charleston, which is where kind of South Carolina is birthed from, is 1695.
Wow.
And it's an interpreter, a Spanish and English interpreter, helping interpret for the governor of Carolina, speaking to the embassy, who were an indigenous group that spoke Spanish as their communication language with the Europeans.
How interesting.
So yeah, Jews are in the record as far back as that, and then
by
Jewish
way of
families,
Spain?
Spain by way of Amsterdam, so the Netherlands. So Spanish Jews moving out of Spain into Amsterdam, and some in London, and then eventually coming here to the colonies.
So anyone who wanted to trace their roots back, would this be considered Sephardic or Ashkenazi Jew?
Yeah, so this was a Sephardic Jew. All of the early Jews in the colony and the early part of the United States here in Charleston were Sephardic. So those are the descendants of the Jews that were spread into Europe after the Second Temple falls, right around the 5th century. So the Romans have the Jews, some go north into Eastern Europe. We call those Ashkenazi, and then the ones that go into Italy and then later Spain and Portugal, the Mediterranean basin, right? Those would be the Sephardic Jews.
Interesting.
So a lot of them ended up coming here as part of the Spanish and Portuguese exploration of the New World.
Typically when we think of our Jewish brothers and sisters, we think of those that kind of settled in the Northeast.
That's right.
Not so much in the Southeast.
Yeah.
But as time progressed, how did more come to settle in South Carolina?
Yeah, so until the beginning of the Civil War, Charleston was the largest Jewish population in the United States.
Incredible.
So in the late 1800s, there was kind of this Renaissance, cotton Renaissance that happens. The South is going through Reconstruction, exiting Reconstruction. You have some economic opportunities here. At the same time, Eastern European Jews are leaving the Tsarist Russian controlled areas because the pogroms were happening where Jews were being expelled. And so some went to Palestine and others went to the New World, which is the two kind of places they were able to find some place to live and practice their religion. That was the big part of Charleston and South Carolina specifically. It was very tolerant for those that believed in God, and that included Jews, and nowhere else.
It's the holy city.
Right, and the holy city spans just beyond churches. And so the first place in Western civilization where a Jew could own land, vote, and be elected to office was right here in Charleston, South Carolina.
So you kind of answered my next question. That was, what was life like for Jews here? Because if they're able to own land, I would imagine that they could flourish in their own right.
They could. So when the first settlers came here to the Carolina colony, they were issued land. The king was issuing land grants. Jews were tolerated and allowed to be here, but they were not issued any land like their Protestant, fellows were. So Jews were very much able to practice the religion out in the open, which was quite novel.
How did it influence life here?
Yeah, so Jews here were quite affluent. They were participants in a lot of the trade in the Caribbean, as well as, merchants dealing with all of the raw goods being produced here. This was an agrarian society, so the planter class was producing indigo and cotton and all of these really important agriculture products. Of course, all of that's built on top of the enslaved labor that they had. And so Jews participated in that economy as the class below the planter class, typically the merchant class. And so they were able to flourish here, which was also quite unique because in Eastern Europe and parts of Europe, there was a lot of difficulties for Jews to be allowed to practice commerce and do things like that. So America was just this incredible place for Jews to be.
Wonderful. And the congregation that you belong to in particular has been around for quite some time as well. We just have a few seconds left because I also want to make sure that I let the audience know about the upcoming event. So tell us just briefly about the congregation itself and how it's unique compared to some other congregations in the
So
area.
KKBE, we are the birthplace of Reform Judaism in North America. Reform Judaism is kind of the more liberal and progressive form of Judaism, very inclusive. That leads us into what we're celebrating here on December 20th. We're going to be doing a fundraiser for the LGBTQ community called Vodkas and Latkes. It's hosted by the famous patio furniture drag queen. And so we're excited.
We've had her on.
Oh,
yes,
Patty's
yes.
she's phenomenal. So we're gonna be celebrating that. We encourage everybody to get tickets. You can find them on KKBE's website, kkbe.org.
And proceeds go to We Are Family.
We Are Family, yes, which is the oldest LGBTQ advocacy group in South Carolina.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, and wishing you a very happy Hanukkah.
Thank you. Very good.
We'll be back after this.